yes, greetings and also salutations. Happy final Sunday morning to everybody. This is CBS Sports HQ presented by Capital One with Sherry Burgess. I'm Russ Thaler.
All right, we do know it was a good morning for us here indeed, but for Golden State Game 1, that was a rude awakening. Can the Warriors rebound following their first home loss of the postseason? We're going to try to do that tonight against the Celtics. And we're bringing in now our experts, Tim Doyle, NBA analyst, and Kenny White, our Wizard of Odds, to preview this game. And Tim, get us going there. We see you got your hammer. What's a Warriors prop that you like most for Game 2?
You know, I've been targeting Klay Thompson. You know, I had a buddy that when we used to go out, he would always target like a wounded zebra at the bar, right? Like someone had like a bad hoof. I don't really want to get into the full details of how that worked out for him long term, but he's still single. I've been targeting Klay Thompson throughout this postseason 11 times. 10 plus 1, 11 times in this postseason, under 20 points. I love Klay Thompson. I love the little fro. I like the little headband. I like that he rides his bike to games. I also like betting under on his prop right now because he's still overvalued, Kenny. We're trying to remember Klay Thompson from a few years ago. You know, Klay Thompson could score 60 points on 9 dribbles in a game against the Chicago Bulls. He's not the same guy anymore. Can you sell me on he is the same guy, Kenny?
No, I cannot, Tim, because you're right. He's not the same guy. You know, missing a couple of years and up there in age. And tell Mark, don't worry about it. He'll find somebody soon. So we'll take care of that problem later with him. But today, let's win some bets. I'm going with Curry over 5.5 assists. And you know, talking about this, the Golden State Warriors played Denver and Memphis the first 2 rounds. Those 2 teams fought through picks. They do not switch. So Dallas was the same type of defensive scheme that they fight through every pick that they can and they stay on their man. Well, in the middle of that series, Jason Kidd thought, you know what, we can't get away with that. We're going to have to switch. They're eating us alive. So that's what they did. They started making switches. And when they did that, Curry's assists went up and they went sky high, 11, 9, and 7 the last 3 games. Well, now they're playing the Celtics, a team that switches more than anybody in the NBA. They're not going to stay on their man. They're going to switch, which is going to leave plenty of room for Steph Curry to find the open guy in this game. I think he goes well over 5.5 assists tonight. I think he could touch 8 or 9 assists in this game.
All right, one of the things that stands out from Game 1 of this series is it was the most combined 3-point attempts and 3-pointers made in NBA Finals history. I mean, gosh, there's just so many prop bets out there. Kenny, what's the one you're going with in Game 2 for the Celtics?
Yeah, and this is, you know, Tim and I are like completely different worlds right now thinking about this game and how it's going to pan out. Jason Tatum under the big stage. He's not shown it yet. 3 for 17 in Game 1. Yeah, the rest of the team shot well and they won the basketball game. Today, the Warriors, I think it's going to be their day. And Andrew Wiggins' defense has been tremendous throughout the playoffs. And again, Wiggins will be on Tatum all day long. I think this number is just way too high at 26.5. He's a great player, but there's a lot of supporting cast. He also facilitated very well in Game 1. He might continue to do that in Game 2. I just think it's too many points today for Jason Tatum.
You know, in Rocky 3, Rocky and Adrian had a conversation on the beach there after he lost to Clubber Lang, a.k.a. Mr. T, that he was afraid. Okay, and it's okay to be afraid, all right? It was the Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Rocky overcame that, won the title, even though Mickey was dead, and it was kind of Rocky's fault. I think Jason Tatum has overcome so much adversity here in the playoffs. Examples, okay? Against the Milwaukee Bucks, 10 points, not good. How did he follow up that game? A massive 30-point performance. Okay, let's go to the next series. Struggled again against the Miami Heat. Another 10-point performance. How did he follow that up? Another 30-point performance. So I know that Apollo Creed, who did so dirty. I mean, Apollo Creed wins a controversial decision, loses by a second, retires dead. I don't know who was the writer for Rocky, but they did Apollo Creed very dirty. Jason Tatum does not have that Apollo Creed, encouraging him in the corner. Who does he have? Myself. So, Kenny, it's me versus you. I think Tatum makes adjustments, and I am hammering the over here.
He's got his wand. Watch out, Tim. I love this. Props all around. All right, but the powerhouse that is Golden State, they might be meeting their match in the Celtics. Tim, you kind of touched on it there, but Boston is the only team in the NBA with a winning record against Steve Kerr's Warriors. Golden State is a 4-point favorite, total 215 in a hook. Kenny, what's your approach here?
You know, a loss is a loss, Sherry. Doesn't matter how many you lose by. Doesn't matter if you're blown out 40-14 in the fourth quarter or not. You lost the game. Now you bounce back. And if anybody can bounce back, it's Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. They have so much experience on this stage. Great home court. First loss ever there. I think they bounce back today. I think they have a tremendous performance. I think their defense will really show up today, as well as the offense. I think it's going to be an all-around great game. Whoever makes the best adjustments, it's Steve Curry. Makes the best adjustments of anybody. They always have great second halves. They started out well in the third quarter, but hey, the Celtics could not miss, and that's just not going to happen back-to-back games. I'm taking the Warriors today.
Right now, 80% of the bets are on the Warriors. 80% of the handle is on the Warriors, okay? But I think what we saw in game number 1 was very similar to Rocky 4. And when Rocky fought Ivan Drago, who killed Apollo, the Russian is cut, okay? The Warriors are cut right now, Sherry, right? They're cut. They've lost at home. They were undefeated. You start to lose confidence. How many points did Steph Curry have in the first quarter? 21 points. Rest of the game, only 13. Well, but Boston's best player played well. He played terrible, and they still figured out a way to win. Why? Because they shot 50% from the field and banged down 21 threes. If one thing is for certain, okay, the Warriors can change, right? They can, and they're going to have to. They're going to have to play much better defense, because if they can change, then I can change, and everybody can change, okay? It's another Rocky 4 reference, all right? But I just feel like everybody is jumping on Golden State right now because they're at home, but you really have to look in deep and say, are they the better team? They're not. And that's why the series price, if you want to get in and gamble right now, you're going to have to lay nearly 2-1 with the Boston Celtics, okay? So this is simple right now. You're going to give me 4 points? Oh, Ross, Sherry, I'll take all those points.
Tim, very supportive Adrian in Rocky 3. Loved it on the beach with all that she gave to Rocky. Do you remember what she told Rocky in Rocky 4 when he was going to face Drago? She said, "You can't win." That's where Adrian went on that one. And some might say it's all on the line for the Warriors tonight, right? Because they have no business going 0-2 into Boston and thinking they can win that series. With it all on the line, Kenny, what is the play for you today?
Yeah, today the best play I have in the game is over the total. I made the first one 217. We win that pretty handily. I adjusted after game 1. Now 222.5 is my total. Still a 7-point difference. So much firepower on both of these teams. These guys should go off again once again today. I'll probably switch to the unders a little bit later after maybe game 3 or game 4 once they start to settle in defensively. I don't think they're there yet because I think game 1 is more like what we're going to see in game 2.
If you watch this show, you know that Kenny White hearts unders. He loves unders, okay? So for him to bet an over, gets the hair in the back of my neck to stand up a little bit, Kenny, okay? Like, that gets me excited. I'm not going to go game over. I'm going to target the Boston Celtics. 120 points they scored in game number 1. With their best player shooting 3 of 17. I said this going into the series, and when I handicapped this series, I had to feel like if you were the Celtics, wait, you get away from these defensive guys. Just going to name a few of them. Kevin Durant, first round series. Drew Holiday and Giannis, pretty good defenders, okay? Next series, you got Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. We're talking about some of the best defenders in the entire NBA. Now, no disrespect for the Warriors. Whenever you say no disrespect, you always disrespect them. They just don't have the same personnel. And now that they don't have that same rim protection, I think Boston's going to continue to eat in this. I like betting overs. Why? It puts me in a good mood, okay? This guy right here likes being in a good mood, okay? So give me over Celtics team total.
Man, we got a lot to chew on today and a lot of Rocky references at that. Let's just give you a little recap of the picks between the Wizard of Odds and our Tim Doyle. You can take a look at them, soak them in. Maybe take a snapshot on your phone right now and then make yourself some money a little bit later on today.
All right, Celtics-Warriors parlay time. A lot of different ways and a lot of different things you can put together here. But Kenny, what is an NBA parlay that you have for game 2 for tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Warriors, Sherry, minus the points, minus the 4, over 215.5. And let's throw in Steph Curry over 28.5 points. He's going to need to score that many today for the Warriors to win. I think he comes out hot like he did in game one, and I think he just continues on. It's going to be a Golden State Warriors show at home today.
Yeah, I like all your picks. I like Steph over as well. 34 points in game number one. But the only difference here is I'm on the other side. I'm going to take the dog here in the 4 points. I think Tatum's going to have a massive bounce-back effort. And they scored 120 points in game one. I feel like I'm getting a 14-point edge here, only 105.5. You know what I feel like the Celtics are going to do against the Warriors? If they had like a blazer on that didn't fit, maybe because they've been lifting weights, they are going to explode, Russ, over this number. So give me over this point prop.
All right.
I knew you were going. I knew it. I got one that fits today.
Well, Tim Doyle, Kenny White, guys, as always, we appreciate you. And let's get a look at their parlays for game two later tonight. Kenny liking the Warriors minus the points over the total. Steph Curry going over his player prop. Tim taking the 4 for Boston, thinks Tatum will go over 26.5 points, and Celtics team total over 105 in a hook. $25 down for Kenny gets you 135. If you pick Tim's parlay, 25 down gets you almost 150. All right, well, such an important game tipping off tonight. Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Bring back 2 of our guys who are important to us, Kenny White and Tim Doyle. There are a few guys we look at every night to be the top scorer. Game 1, Steph Curry putting out 34 points, but in the loss. Tim, who are you willing to put $1 or $2 on to lead their team in the box score here?
You know, I only have 1 degree, okay, from the great university that is Northwestern, okay? But even if I had a master's in, let's just say, social studies, okay? Even I've never heard of anyone having a master's in that, but it's an easy one, okay? Steph Curry over. Did we see in game 1, there was like a little bit of urgency there of like, oh, I better set a tone and score a lot of points. This reminds me a lot of like what Luka had to do the previous series where he went out and got you consistently 35, 40 points because he had to. You know, Klay Thompson's not the same player. Draymond Green had his struggles in game number 1. So, Kenny, it ain't sexy. You know, it's not like you walk around boasting about your master's degree in social studies, but minus 230, this is easy money. I'll take Steph, Kenny.
Yeah, big sexy. I'm with you, okay? Steph Curry's got to be the guy. He's got a nice lead going into game 2, 34-24 over Brown. So I'm going to lay it minus 230. He's the early speed, and I think Steph Curry has the stamina to finish this one out as well. 230 is, I think, very short for a guy who could average 30 a game the rest of the finals here, which easily gets him the crown of highest scorer.
Russ, you have at least a couple degrees, right?
Just one. Political science. Okay. Political science done me really well. Got me to this point in my life right here, right now. Guys, and I know enough that these guys, they love to put up some shots, right? So especially from deep. They're not going to make them all, of course, unless you're the Celtics in the fourth quarter of game 1, but I digress. Who's going to be the top rebounder in the finals, Tim?
You know, this was a hard one for me to handicap. So I ended up taking Al Horford, and this is strictly because Al Horford is married to Miss Universe. They have 4 beautiful kids, and deep down I want to be Al Horford. Right now, Draymond Green has the lead. He had 11 rebounds in game number 1. Kevon Looney had 9. I think we want to take Looney. You know, I'm not going to say you're a Looney, but I'm not sure he's going to lead this finals in rebounding. Al Horford's been wildly consistent, and he's been a mom. Okay, a man on a mission, MOM. This is his first NBA Finals. He had played 140-plus playoff games, and I'm going to get plus money. Give me that plus 200, Kenny.
Tim, we are like in lockstep. My thinking was identical, but I was thinking Al Horford because of who he's married to Miss America. So I was thinking he's got to win the rebounding title. That was my first thought. I threw the numbers out and said, well, Al Horford. And then I started to look at the numbers a little bit, and then I thought Looney, and I thought, can't bet on Looney. There's no way I can bet on Looney. So I'm going with Draymond. He's got 11, and he's a leader in the clubhouse, and he does rebound well. I think right now at this pace, he's going to be right there, nip and tuck at the end, and we're getting plus $4 on Draymond Green. I'm taking him to win the rebounding crown.
It's not Miss America. It's Miss Universe, buddy. You know what I mean? This isn't like Connecticut and Utah, like, you know, where you just kind of go like this. Bye-bye. We're talking about Brazil. We're talking about the beautiful countries in Africa. We're talking about around the world. And you just poo-pooed her award to Miss USA? Come on, Kenny, get it right.
We'll have to do a lesson. Again, you said social studies. Tim, is what you had a master's in. Maybe you can school Kenny up after this. Moving on, though, the Boston Celtics, they clawed their way to the NBA Finals. Their last two series going to 7 games. Regular season, Boston and Golden State each won 1 against each other. Kenny, how many games are you willing to bet this series goes to?
Yeah, this is, Sherry, this is what I started with, and this is what I'll end with, is the Boston Celtics are the better basketball team. They showed that in game 1. I played the Celtics to win the series early on, and I played the Celtics to win in 6 games. And I believe that's still what's going to happen. I think the Warriors have enough experience. They have enough talent to win a couple games, but that's it. The Celtics win this 4-2. Tim, I think we're pretty right on together on this one.
Yeah, well, that was my series prediction before game 1. But after game 1, I feel even more confident that Boston's a lock to win this series. And guys, win tonight, this thing may only go 4. But the way kind of the games play out, game 6 and winning in 6 would mean they would win the series in Boston. But, Boston's one of those teams that they've won games they weren't expected to win and lost games they were expected to win. I thought they had the most impressive postseason win when they went to Milwaukee. The Bucks were up 3-2 in that series. You got Giannis on his home floor, the best player on the planet, and they figured out a way to win. So the balance of Boston, I think, is just going to be a little bit too much. So I'm going to go with Kenny here, Boston in 6.
All right, so both of you guys picking the C's to win it in 6. That should inform your finals MVP picks. Kenny, who you got for MVP?
Yeah, same 2 guys. I started with the prices are not as good as they were when before the series started. But Jaylen Brown, once again, at 6-1, I think he's got great value. Put up 24 in game 1. And then, Tim really put me onto this one, Marcus Smart, because he talked about both ends of the court where Marcus Smart can dominate defensively. And if he has a hot shooting series from 3-point range, he can put up enough points to be the guy that wins it. So I did take 40-1 on Marcus Smart. He's down to 20-1 now to win that MVP. But that's the 2 guys I like, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Marcus Smart. I thought that he had the most value. Tatum's obviously the obvious pick. And even though he struggled shooting the ball, he still had 13 assists and 5 rebounds and affected the game in a positive way. But, Smart, if he has another big effort today, this might go to 8-1. And especially if they win, and Boston's so balanced that obviously Tatum's their best player, but they've had so many other guys help out. And the way I handicapped this series is very similar to Andre Iguodala when he won MVP when the Warriors won it. Steph Curry's never won a finals MVP. Andre won it because he affected the game defensively, at least attempting to guard LeBron. And then he did some big things on the offensive end. I guarded Andre Iguodala in the Chicago-New York All-Star game. It wasn't the McDonald's game. It was like a Wendy's game, which the gear wasn't as good. Like it was just like it was like basically like the Shannon Tweed like late night Cinemax of All-Star game. But you would know that reference if you're my age. And I remember there was cheerleaders that were screaming, "Get Andre Iguodala the ball!" And while I was guarding him, and let's just say it was a very lonely feeling.
Well, you're not lonely because both of you guys are picking the Celtics in 6 games. So we got that, and you've given us a lot of options here for MVP votes, all on the Celtics. So it should be interesting. Marcus Smart started at 40-1. Kenny, if you got in on that at 40-1, you're doing pretty good, I think, my man, considering what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. And here again are your picks. Both guys going with the top scorer as Stephen Curry. They're in lockstep here. Finals rebounder, Green and Horford. Okay, Al Horford, Tim Doyle. We know he's got a man crush on Al Horford. I think he's also got a wife crush as well.
Maybe.
On Al Horford. They both think the C's are winning in 6, and it's either going to be Brown or Smart, and both paying out pretty good.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.